Oh, Tashi Dele, hello. Hello, everyone there. Oh, yeah, I hope everyone doing fine. Everyone is taking good care. Everyone is taking good care of each other. Yeah, so welcome back to the session. We will start with short breathing exercise by placing our focus on the breathing to settle our body and mind in the present moment. So now take a few moments to refresh our refuge practice in Guru Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Try to visualize and have a convictions of refuge field and a merit field lively, vividly present within you, around you, in every existence, and try to witness directly enlightened activities, enlightened qualities, such like perfected qualities of 6 parameters, 5 wisdoms, including the perfection in blessing, perfection in prayers, that which is bringing immense of protection and benefit to numberless sentient beings who are under the total control of karma and delusion, completely destitute, completely lost in the darkness of ignorance and delusions. Due to the immeasurable compassions and altruistic love to all such samsaric suffering being. Therefore, it's so obvious, the perfected blessings and prayers are affecting like ourselves. at least, came onto the light of Dharma. In the midst of life is completely, overpowered by afflictions and karma and worldly concern, but then we're able to, at least for a moment, at least for an hour, at least for a day, we're able to come out from that and experience the light of meaning, which is opportunity to practice Dharma. So these are truly blessings, immeasurable blessings, and the prayers of the Guru, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Can you imagine even just this very day, this very within 24 hours, the overwhelming control of karma and the ignorant graspings, or simply ignorant grasping, lacking of and total not aware, many hours not aware of what truly the meaning of life, not aware of Dharma. And it is quite devastating. The day passes so fast, the year passes so fast, and even someone fortunate like us who have met the Dharma, who have surrounded with so much Dharma environment, freedoms and endowments, as we know, but still, many of the hours, many of the days, many of the months in the year, we were lost into meaningless of the worldly life, meaningless in the worldly concern. That's very true, isn't it? If there is no powerful help, such like Buddha's, immeasurable, perfected prayers and blessing, it is not easy to, take our, very heavily, drown, our existence into the very nasty, sticky, muddy of worldly concern. So this is what I'm saying. Buddha's gurus and Buddha's their blessings and their prayers are, helping us always, even while we are not paying attention to their blessings, their prayers. Then even to those who born in the lowest hell realm, still, there is a day, there is a time that can be liberated from there, and it requires immense of virtuous conditions to able to awaken their Buddha nature from the darkest coverage of the thickened karma in the lowest hell realm. Is again through the immeasurable prayers and blessings of the Guru, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And providing the solution, which is the Dharma, in accordance with the mental disposition, and eventually every single numberless sentient beings lead to the absolute liberation of full enlightenment. So now see this quality in Guru, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha and rejoice in it, get inspired, and oneself too want to be part of this enlightened beings mandala, where you can also effectively and accordingly with the mental disposition of sentient being to benefit them, in particularly to those who have a special karmic connection to us, which none other Buddha's conditions can able to directly or most effectively can affect them to be liberated, except yours. There are many sentient beings like that. An example within this lifetime, within the family member, if you are the one that who is only the one that who practice the Dharma, who have taken refuge in Guru, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha, who always refrain from negativities, accumulate virtues. So this is very much your fortune and your responsibility and your privilege, and also your task for rest of the other family members and the close ones is very much their karma due to the karmic affinity that we have in this lifetime, makes yourself the liberator for them from oceans of negativities and samsara up to liberation, full enlightenment. You see? So therefore, get motivated altruistically and dedicate the rest of our life for that purpose. And especially this very session, to be most beneficial, as like all the past Buddha's deeds has been. Sangye Chetan Zoje Jonala Janju Bado Dani Jazunje Daji Zoje Be Sonamje Dola Benje Sanje Drubar Aisho Sangye Chetan Zoje Jonala Janju Bado Dani Jazunje Daji Zoje Be Sonamje Dola Benje Sanje Drubar Aisho Sangye Chetan Zoje Jonala Janju Bado Dani Jazunje Daji Zoje Be Sonamje Dola Benje Sanje Drubar Aisho Kange doze ne zone tawa damje pambe je dambe june donje bagwa dam ne la chansen lo donyi ninje zundo jube lama zeje zenjo ganje dende go chana pe mo denzen ja zona sowa de sonda ju chinje lo zemje damje dewa dan dewe ju dan dembra ju je zemje damje dunga dan dunga je ju dan dawra ju je zemje damje dunga mebe dewa dan mi dawa ju je zemje damje nyire cha dan ni dan dawe dan yola nebra ju Semje damje dewa dan dewe ju dan dembra ju je semje damje dunga dan dunga je ju dan dawra ju je semje damje dunga mebe dewa dan mi dawa ju je semje damje nyire cha dan ni dan dawe dan yola nebra ju semje damje dewa dan dewe ju dan dembra ju je semje damje dunga dan dunga je ju dan dawra ju je semje damje dunga mebe dewa dan mi dawa ju je semje damje nyire cha dan ni dan dawe dan yola nebra ju ji. Okay, thank you. So yeah, we are still studying A Will of Sharp Weapon by Dhammarashita, and we are on the page 139, those of you who are using the same kind of text, and we are on verse 40. And we are still in the topic that very much illustrating or defining, the karmic law, cause and effect, the different varieties of specific, action that brings a specific result, and teaches us the antidote to purify them if in case we are experiencing that, or to take those practices as a precaution, as a prevention to experience such negative karmic consequences in the future. So now the verse 40, it says, when my mind remain untamed despite spiritual practice, it is the weapon of evil karma turning upon me for eagerly pursuing mundane ambitions. From now on, I will concentrate on aspiring for liberation. Mm. 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 Yeah, so so this is very obvious to many of us who met Buddha Dharma for a long time, who met the Shakyamuni Buddha's Dharma, that which which revealed 84,000 antidotes to all different kind of delusions. Then by the Indian great pandits, like 17 pandits, like Nagajunas, Adisha, like Dhammarakshita, then Tibetan Mahasiddhas like Lama Tsongkhapa, make it so relevant and so easy for us to understand. Then incompatible, enlightened gurus like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Kyabje Lama Subrumbache, and all your spiritual gurus who are absolutely qualified with all the qualities that sutras have emphasized, which is so rare to find. And we have met them. Not only meeting them, we have been, is one of the most fortunate in one way. In another way, it's one of the most pampered by shower, by like a rainfall of Dharma teachings. You see, the Dharma teachings are so much until that the students are almost like not available. The teachers are available to teach. We students are sometimes more busier. No time to receive the teaching. In that kind of era that we exist, unbelievable. And when it comes to Dharma teaching, the teachers teach us in so many skillful ways, philosophical way, the Lamrim way, the Lojong way, the instruction, advice, direct instruction, direct advice, from so many different ways, directly tutoring us, directly tutoring us by our gurus, which in the past, so rare. Even during the fortunate time, Buddha's time, it is so rare. During the Nalanda Pandit's time, also is so rare. Is it? Even in Tibet, during the fortunate time, to acquire Dharma is not easy. It is a lot of hardship. Hardship. First of all, to have the Dharma discourse. Then, secondly, the hardship for the facilities, to be there, the journey, the weather condition, the food, etc. It's not easy. But in our time, especially now, all the Dharma teachings, like everywhere in the text, you can just click in the internet. All the text can be found in all different language. If we want to receive audio, directly from the Guru, we have the opportunity. But if you want to have a note, a reference, all the audio teachings are available. Just type in the YouTube, you can get it. You see, like that. Then, not like in the old time, that now, so many, how to say, now you see, the culture where we are, doesn't kind of object us to practice Dharma. We have freedom to practice Dharma. Even in the West, we're born in the Western, let's say, Christian family. But if individual of you want to practice Buddhism, you have total freedom. No one will stop you. You have a full right. You see, but our mind still, I'm not talking for everybody, but I'm talking about myself, and there are people like me. Our mind remain untamed, like a very, very concrete, hard rock. That ugly rock. Not a diamond type of, sapphire type of rock. Not a crystal type of rock. It's a useless, hard, very ugly rock. You see, despite spiritual facilities, and also, try to practice. We have so many opportunity to do retreat, so many opportunity to contemplate and try to do meditation, but somewhere, somehow, just mind is not taming. Somewhere, somehow, still stays so harsh, so stubborn, stubborn and hard, in the sense of very mundane. It's the strength of grasping in attachment, the strength of grasping in aversion, the strength of grasping in jealousy, ego, intolerance, impatience, stinginess, lack of concentration, no wisdom at all. It's completely, it's like chained with that. You see, I'm talking about myself. You see, like that. Unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. You see, and sometimes we think, most of the time tends to blame outside. Maybe teacher didn't teach properly, or maybe not having proper environment. But not true. Actually, it's not true. Teacher have taught more than needed. The environment is perfected more than perfection. Most perfected. You see. So, but the thing, why, despite all this, why remain so untamed? Our mind, despite all these conditions, why still remain so worldly? Why our thinking still remains so worldly? Why we cannot separate from eight worldly concern? Why we cannot have a bit of kind of like a lengthy relationship or separation, from these delusions? Why? So the thing is that we have a very thickened habituation of the past karma. the karma, the karmic imprint that established through intense habitual in mundane concern, because of that. You see, the weapon of the evil karma turning upon me for eagerly pursuing mundane ambitions. Always, whatever we do, we very much follow the rule and instruction of delusions. You see, even when we pursue worldly things, very much the motivation is mundane motivation. Even when we pursue Dharma, if we are not careful, mostly it's a mundane motivation. It's very much infused by worldly concern. It's very much, focused to the fulfillment of this very life's purposes. Never really pursue the Dharma for liberation. Never really pursue the Dharma for enlightenment. You see, very much. When we even when we study Lojong, is unless we really properly set the motivation. Otherwise, just kind of finding some psychological solutions, Buddhist psychological kind of solutions to overcome, sadness, and overcome the mundane mental agitations, mundane mental agitations. Even we have the intentions of to overcome anger, to overcome attachment, but if there's no sense of targeting for liberation, ultimate liberation, it still become worldly concern. You see, still become a worldly dharma. So it is a virtue, but it's still cause of samsara. You see, so it's so rare to have a clear idea of, I study Lojong for full enlightenment. I study Lojong to eradicate the root cause of samsara, to actualize liberation. It is very rare. You see, so as long as there's no clarity, the pursuit of our practice for liberation or for full enlightenment, then it becomes cause of samsara. It will bring some benefit of betterment in next lifetime in the God realm and human realm, but it won't be cause for liberation. You see, so as long as we remain our mind, enveloped by the mundane concern, then we never can be, long time we won't be able to be liberated from oceans of samsara, and that is a huge problem, and that's a huge obstacle. You see, because Buddha's intent of the Dharma is for us to actualize liberation. Liberation at least from the sixth realm of self-existent. Even the Dharma for the simple capable being, it is for to have the basis to actualize eventually the ultimate liberation. You see, the full liberation from the sixth realm of existence. You see, so until any practices that not become cause and condition for liberation, then that become a mundane dharma or worldly dharma. And that is not a dharma. That is not a real dharma. You see, and if we happen to indulge in that, then our time is wasted. You see, we are not striving the absolute meaning of the life. You see, and we are not fulfilling the intent of the Buddha. You see, Buddha taught 84,000 teaching, 3 baskets of the teaching. The 3 baskets of the Buddha's teachings are intended not other than subduing the 3 poisons. The basket of the Vinaya teaching is to subdue, to purify the attachment grasping. The paramita the basket of the paramita teaching is intended specifically to antidote, to eradicate the grasping or aversion. Then the wisdom, the basket of teaching of the wisdom is intended specifically as an antidote to overcome the root delusions of the ignorant grasping. You see, so if any practices still got stained by mundane concern, then that won't act as an antidote to overcome these three poisons. You see, and as long as we have the mundane concern, that means our mind is not tame. You see, whenever that we are releasing from the mundane concern in our worldly, in our ordinary life as well as spiritual life, then our minds are getting trained. Our minds are in the progress of training. You see, so from here we can see the importance of having a pure, clear, and the Dharma motivation. Otherwise, it creates a karma, and the karma can be the karma can be so obstructive that even when we meet the Dharma, even when we meet our Guru, even when we have all the facility, that the fortunate facility of meeting Dharma that I've explained before, the karma will bring immense obstacle to get absolute benefit from the Dharma. You see, so like that. So now the antidote is, from now on, I will concentrate on the aspiration for liberation. You see, so that shows that if we realize that we have this problem that as emphasized before, then we need to correct our motivation. We need to correct our motivation, so that way we are able to purify those karma. We have to set a proper motivation towards our pursuit of our spiritual practice. Meaning whatever skillful form of Dharma practices out there, and whatever those skillful means of Dharma that you practice as a puja ritual, and as a prayer, as a recitation of sutra, as a tantric practices, as a Vinaya Sangha practices, that we have to make sure that we refresh our motivation. We have to refresh our aspiration, all those practices for liberation. You see, so this is a very, very important clarification for us to practice correctly. Otherwise, lot of the name is given as a Dharma, like puja, Dharma puja, Dharma practice. The puja is Dharma practice, but then unable to become Dharma because of you do Thara puja, not intended, not aspire for liberation. Rather, you do Thara puja to clear obstacle for this life's business problem, or this life's some kind of activities that is not accomplishing. Then you pray, you do Thara puja. So that become a mundane, that still become mundane, that didn't become pure Dharma. You recite, let's say, the Vajra Cutter Sutra, when we experience heavy karmic, obstacle like sicknesses, then if the Guru recommend to recite Vajra Cutter Sutra, if you just recite with the motivation to clear just the sickness, it is mundane. You see, if there's no motivation of liberation, then it didn't become a Dharma. It will help, but then it didn't help ultimate benefit. It is still within the virtue of a mundane virtue, or the worldly virtue. You see, like that. So if we have a health issue and wanted to do knowing medicine Buddha is so effective for overcoming health obstacle, and there's no altruistic motivation or motivation for liberation, just for the cure or overcome of the sickness, and that become a worldly dharma. That become worldly virtue. It's a virtue, but worldly. It's still cause of samsara. You see, they may be curing from the disease, but still you have the opportunity to be fully liberated from entire samsara existence. But that didn't happen because of no motivation for liberation. You see, like that. You see, so yeah, so yeah, so keep in mind that yeah. Then verse 41, when I feel remorse as soon as I sit down and reflect, it is the weapon of evil karma turning upon me for being shamelessly fickle and clamoring for high status. From now on, I will be vigilant in my association with others. So whenever uh, whenever yeah, whenever you feel regret of others' quality, whenever you regret of others' achievements in virtues, or whenever you have regret of others' goodness, not necessarily even has to be dharma, but any goodness, even in the conventional human world, whatever goodness that others have achieved, and the moment you see them, the moment you see that, you feel regret, you feel you feel remorse, and and also when we practice certain kind of meditations or contemplations or studies, and when you realize that someone is practicing better, someone is obtaining realization better, someone's study is better, or your guru, acknowledge someone's goodness in their practice, but then you were not noticed by the guru, and you feel bad, about someone. You feel regret about someone's those achievements. You feel not good. You feel not good about those goodness, and this kind of delusion is very harmful and very obstructive. You see, it is very negative. And it is the false. It is a negativity that which opposite of rejoicement. You see, and that is a great obstacle for our spiritual progress and great obstacle for our achievement in goodness, even in the mundane world. You see. So if in case that such kind of feelings arises, then we need to understand that this is the karmic imprint that one have committed the similar kind of karma in the past by being shamelessly fickle and clamoring for higher status. That one always compete for higher status, higher status, whether to do with the mundane life or whether to do with the spiritual life. You see, so in mundane life, in our ordinary life, very much everything has to compete. Even from the very little child, that we were taught to compete, isn't it? Compete in playing, compete in running, compete in winning. Then when we go to school, we were trained, we were asked to compete with the rest of the classmates to be the first, to be the best. You see, then even when we go to work, asked to always that you should be the one that who get promotion. You should be the one that who get the acknowledgement, etc., etc. So that all, in fact, is all negative karma. You see, in ordinary conventional world, we don't realize that these are negative karma. You see, but in actual karmic law, cause and effect contents, or in the Dharma content, then all these are creation of negative karma. The main responsibility is that to correct from this kind of committing karma, for us to do the job properly, do the job wisely, honestly, and with the dedication, keeping the karmic law, cause and effect in our heart, and those who have a spiritual reliance, then keep our guru in our heart. You see, so keep by keeping guru and the karmic law, cause and effect as evidence in our heart, then we perform the work. Then in that content, whether you get promotion or not, whether you get acknowledgement or not, as far as concerned with the karma wise, you have not committed non-virtuous. You have it's a virtuous karma. You see, and some more from the spiritual practice. Then, if you dedicate, you do the job in your best, but then in your heart, never have a grasping of higher status, then that become a pure dharma. More than that, in your heart, always hope others to be the first, hope others to be acknowledged, others to be achieve the promotion, and that also dedicate from that temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of liberation and enlightenment, then become pure, absolute pure dharma in the working life. You see, so while having that heart, then if you get your heart, your honest and heart dedication work is acknowledged, you are promoted. You're promoted with the full of virtues. You're promoted with the full of merits. Merit in a conventional merit point, and merit, abundance of merit in the spiritual accumulation of meritorious karma, that which will, even in the working place, which will lead ourselves as a very meaningful life, that which lead to the liberation. So like that. Mm. 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 You see, so yeah. So otherwise, if we behave, our usual way, the very, very worldly way, shamelessly fickle and clamoring for high status, then that creates a heavy karma. You see, and sometimes we thought that there's no such karma like that, but even and this is very relevant to our common our conventional world. If we are not careful, it's so easy to commit this karma. So easy to commit this karma. Even in the monastery, when we study so many years, philosophy, Dharma understanding, even when we reach, the Madhyamika classes, there are some students, they still, you see, pursue for higher status, compete with you, very mundane way. I have one classmate that always compete. A very poor friend, very suffering for him, always compete. Yeah, for me directly, he directly compete with me, and all the time ask, feel very. He get very hard time when I don't, relax my time. He thinks that if he don't see me, he think I'm focusing on study, and sure he will win. sure he will get the first. So very, very, very poor thing, very compassionate, very very cute or pitiful. I don't know how to say. He's a big man, is a senior monk. uh, uh, I remember, and sometimes, um, you know, sometimes encourage you to, go and watch movie. He said, don't study too much. It's very not good for your mind. Go and relax. Uh, I sponsor you for go and watch movie, rather than study, because he worried that I would become better than him. uh, you see. So then nearer to the exam, you can see it's like so much concern. You will do better than him. You see. So very poor thing. You see. Studied Dharma for 10, 15 years already. But still, like that. And in most of all, it's so suffering. So suffering. So you see, uh, so I think the most important thing is that you see whether to do with them. Especially now we know about the karma here, how such a nasty karma can commit. The karma of always always regret and depress about others' goodness. So suffering, isn't it? It's so unpleasant, isn't it? Who want to experience that kind of that is so close up mind? You see, the opposite mind of that is rejoicement. Whenever you see something good things about others, you feel so happy. You don't have to do the good things, but you feel so happy because of you rejoice someone's goodness. Wow, so liberating. It's like a free happiness. Free happiness, bonus happiness. You see, you don't have to earn any hard work. And people, through their hard work, they achieve goodness, and you just feel happy for them, rejoice for them. It's so wonderful. But it's not easy to do that, because of the karma that we committed. And if we don't purify them, unnecessarily, unwantedly create, causes of suffering, negative karma. Mm. 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 So whether do with the spiritual content or whether do with our ordinary life, we always pursue, knowledge, pursue things in life. But if we let's say, even in our mundane life, not hoping for the like a position, not your job is to fulfill the work, fulfill the duty, in your best. You see, but not for the position, not for the status. You see, then in that way, if the position is beneficial for you, it will come in your way. And in our spiritual practice too, our duty is to practice diligently, wholeheartedly, sincerely, honestly, purely. Then we don't have to have any idea or expectations of even a result of that. The result will come by its own way. Even when we talk about service to the sentient being, service in the community, you see. So instead of pursuing the position, rather pursue the service, the work that you offer. So as long as the someone who carry correct motivation, the whole purpose of pursuing the position is to offer the effective service, isn't it? So if that's the case, then as long as that we offer dedicated, wholehearted service, then you don't need a position. You see, so there are so many tragedies and adversities and negativities that it comes of having the grasping towards a status. You can see in a worldly world, you can see the U.S. Just recently, not only recently, maybe all the time, like U.S. presidential election, it creates so much trouble. Unbelievable, ambitious grasping from both parties until it becomes so nasty. You can see sometimes I feel so pity, so pity, unbelievable. I think they regard the most knowledgeable people. They go to the what you call the elected, the House representatives or whatever, the Congress or whatever. In a conventional world, they may have almost the highest knowledge, academic degrees, or the greater wealth, but think of their thinking. When I watch it, I feel so pitiful. I feel so low, unbelievable. The way how they fight, the way how they fight, is like winning, only about winning, There's no other consideration at all. As long as I win, whether to do with the president, whether to do with any representative, as long as I win, that's it. Unbelievable. The status is the biggest thing. And the whole world, in the ordinary world, everywhere look for status, unfortunately. People don't really look for their sincerity, their talent, you see. It's almost like everything is under table. It's so sad, you see. So the human society continue to behave like that, then human society, no way, not possible to have a peace of mind, because there's a lot of aggression, a lot of remorse for each other's goodness. You see, where to have a harmony? You see, so we're going to be worse and worse in that kind of environment. You see, and not only that, now there's a danger of that kind of influence, that kind of brought up, may even bring into the Dharma, in the Dharma environment, spiritual environment, and that's very nasty. That's very sad. In the spiritual environment, also fight for position, status, recognition, name, fame. You see, and you see, even when we look for guru, people who are not well educated, when you look for guru, you look for guru with someone who carry high status, someone who is a rich one, who has big monasteries, big organizations, hardly choose one humble, ordinary look, but then someone is highly realized yogics, from the cave. Very rare. It's very rare. Nowadays, especially come to a very degenerated time, that when we look for guru, maybe we may do a Google search. Google search. I need guru. I need to find guru. So Google search my guru. So who appear more in the Google, then you may choose that as your guru. what you call the who got more likes in the Facebook, you know, who who you know is more, how to say, um, mm, like nowadays called YouTubers. People go there. People do funny thing. Like the TikTok, Instagram, etc., to get like, get like, uh, then uh, you know uh, the more like the person got, then say maybe this may be qualified guru, then you may choose. Danger. You see, danger. You see. Then even when we watch, even when we listen to the Dharma teaching, there's a danger of following the crowd. If there's more crowd, then thinking that is more proper. If there's less crowd, maybe less proper. And that's not the way. That's the mundane way of looking at it. You see, mundane way of looking at it. You see, when we talk about the crowd, Shakyamuni Buddha, first time after even his enlightened being, first of all, 49 days he couldn't find disciple. Then when he found disciple, he found that some people get interested. He only found 5 people. 5 people to listen to Dharma from an enlightened Buddha. If you want to define qualified guru, correct Dharma, correct environment based on the crowd, then Shakyamuni Buddha is out from there. You see? So, yeah. So when we talk about fickle mind, clamoring for high status can refer to our own attitude, and it can also relate to our behavior towards our worldly pursuit as well as our spiritual pursuit. Including when we pursue guru. You see. So. When Asanga searching for his guru Maitreya, is one of the greatest example. How should we search our guru? He didn't went to look outside, as I mentioned before, in the way how we usually search, through Google, through crowds, through name status. He searched the guru by purifying himself, by accumulating merit through meditation, through cultivation of Dharma, and purification. Most importantly, purification of his karma, his negativities. Until then, until his mind is purified, he was unable to see his guru. So until our mind is not pure, it's not easy for us to really to meet a correct guru. It is not easy. It is not easy, especially for beginner. When we first time go to search guru, if we don't prepare from inward, there's a very danger of falling into a wrong guide. It is a very much play of karma. In fact, it is a play of karma. Meeting guru, meeting correct guru, it's all play of our good karma. You see, You see, meeting wrong guide is all play of our karma, our negative karma. You see, so Asanga for 12 years, even though qualified guru Maitreya is with him, but he was unable to see him, relate to him. But only after that Buddha Maitreya appear into a wounded dog, then that makes Asanga to generate, immeasurable great compassion. You see, because of this immeasurable altruistic great compassion, help to purify the heavy stain of his karma. And the moment the karma is purified, he able to see directly his guru right there. Even though that guru is always with him in his cave. You see. So until Asanga complained, he said, I've been meditating, I've been searching for you for so many years. Why took so long? Why took so long for me to see you? And he says, I'm always with you. I'm always with you. He said, no, I don't believe. He said, look at my robes. You see, the whole my robes are completely filthy with your spit and your saliva. You've been in the cave, you've been spitting, you've been throwing your saliva everywhere. You see, all my robes are completely wet, stained with that. This is my proof. I'm always with you. The thing is, you don't have the enough merit. Your mind is obscured by negative karma. That's why you were unable to meet me directly. You see, and this is one of the for me, this is illustrated how to find guru. And when I contemplate on it, when we talk about finding correct guru, relying on a correct guru, to always have a karma to meritorious karma, to never to be separated from correct guru, is not about fixing outside, it's about purifying our own mind. You see, and accumulating the right meritorious causes, and continuously purifying the mind through the application of the Dharma. And that is the way. That is the way. So once you're able to meet the guru with your own mind is purified, and you have the meritorious causes, then even guru appear as a wounded dog also, you're able to see the enlightened guru right there. You see, if our mind is not purified, even the enlightened guru appear, the human guru appear to us, whose actual quality is enlightened being, still we see faults in them. Still, we cannot receive benefit from them because of our own obscure mind. You see. Yeah, so this is just a related subject, Yeah. So it says, the last line, from now on, I will be vigilant in my association with others. Is vigilant with my association with others, subjectively and objectively, and especially subjectively, talking about your motivation. Whenever you deal with others, always be vigilant of your motivation. When you relate to your guru, always have a pure motivation, always have a pure motivation. Like the tantric texts, the initiation of Vajrapani, describe how we should refer to our guru, our human person guru. Buddha have said that we should refer how we how we should refer to the Bhagavan, the Buddha. So when we refer to guru, we see them as Buddha. We see them as Buddha. You see, we regard them as Buddha. We should see them as Buddha. We should see them in Buddha, like that. Oneness with Buddha, like that. You see. So this is about being vigilant. And okay, never mind. Yeah. So the same text says that if you see them in Buddha, then you will receive all the qualities of the Buddha. You see, and never to. If you see them in the forms, then you will not receive the Buddha's blessings like that. You see, so this is what talking about. Be vigilant when we associate with others like Guru, and when we associate with other ordinary beings. Uh, we one as ordinary, since we don't have the clairvoyance, we don't have omniscience. We cannot make a judgment that other person not being Buddha. You see, and because of we don't carry the clairvoyance and omniscient quality, if we regard or make a judgment others low, then that will create a heavy negative karma. It will create a heavy. It will damage your meritorious deeds, your meritorious karma, and create the negative karma. You see. So that's why one of the way that whenever we relate in the actions of others, if there's a goodness, then we view them. We rejoice in them. If we see any faults, then we just generate compassion. This is the way. If we see anybody doing wrong thing, we generate compassion. If we see anybody accumulate goodness, achieve goodness, we rejoice in them. You see, so this is the way how we vigilantly associate with others like that. Then verse 42, when I am deceived by others' treachery, it is the weapon of evil karma turning upon me for being conceited and greedy. From now on, I will be discreet with respect to everything. So this is talking about when we experience the others' betrayal, deceive, especially by to those that to whom that you place your faith and trust and benefit, including to teacher, to teacher like spiritual gurus, to whom that you regard as your spiritual guru, the teacher, or your family members, or your friends, or your partners, to whom that you take refuge, to whom that you total give trust, but then they betray you, and this is the karma of being conceited and greedy. This is the result of cultivating self-centeredness and greed. You see, of course, self-centeredness and greed is a heavy cause of so many other negative karma, but especially, so this kind of experiences, like deceit by others, treachery, is very much specifically very much due to the karma of conceited and greedy, karma of self-centeredness and greed. You see, mm, mm. So we know that self-centered attitude and greeds are bad. It is bad. But now we know that it is so bad that it creates a karma that which is a heavy consequences in relation to in relation to any lifetime. Even in this lifetime, one of the most hurtfulness that can experience in a human society is that when we are deceived, when we are cheated, when we are betrayed by to someone that we place our faith, place our trust, or for our benefit. As a human being, this is a huge hurt. You see, when it comes to our spiritual relation to our guru, due to, as we discussed before, due to lacking of, due to the thickness of our negative karma, unclarity of our mind with the meritorious deeds, we fall into a relation with the unqualified, wrong teacher, to whom you place full faith in your spiritual practice and virtue, and betray you, harm your faith and trust, and that is very, very painful, isn't it? Then to the family members, they are the most closest, karmic affiliated people in your life. They are the closest to whom that you place your trust, you place your hope, you place your benefit. But then they are the one who come and cheat you financially, backbite you, rumors you, treat cunningly. That is so hurtful, isn't it? That is very hurtful, isn't it? Then, spouse, your partner, to whom that you give whole life trust, but then cheat you, betray you. It will be one of the most disaster in our human lifetime. And we know many people go through that. Many relationships go through that, and that is so much suffering. You see, and in many ways that we blame that the others are wrong. We accuse others are wrong, but in fact, it is the karmic result of our own action in the past. And what are those karma? Is our own self-centered selfishness and the greed. Even in this lifetime, if we create a new karma of being very, very selfish person, very greedy person, and your relation to anybody, it turn into sour, turn into a very, very unpleasant relationship, isn't it? When someone is so selfless, when someone is, so generous, even you establish, relation with someone is so new to you, people really kind of like become so close, as if that you know the person for a long time, and place full trust. So this is our let's say it's something that very easy to understand, and you can see that how the actions of selfishness and greed works. Even in the world larger way, those countries that who are so selfish about them, so everything relate to other countries, other people with greed and selfishness, have a lot of trouble, like that, you see. So anyway, so now, whether it's individual level or whether it's community level, if such if such karma is experiencing, then the cure is I will discriminate with respect to everything. So from now on, that you will relate to any situation, any others, any relation with um, with discreet and respect, with much consideration, with much respect, in all aspects. So this is the way. If we are going through such kind of experiences, and if we practice, if we start to practice the relation with respect and consideration, it will help to eventually purify those karma, those experiences. Even though we are experiencing a wonderful relationship with anyone else, then to protect ourselves future, not to encounter such kind of experiences, then we always should practice with respect in everything. like even when we this can be related to the nature, like nowadays, more than in the past, the natural disasters are overwhelmingly happening around the world, to do with fire, like in Australia, bushfire, scientifically, compared to in the past, now is becoming more dangerous, more often, more severe, when it comes to earthquake, when it comes to hurricane, floods, yeah, every elemental disturbances are getting more aggressive, more frequent, more intense nowadays. And everyone talks about, even in our common, conventional world, that it is global warming due to the actions of we humans to the nature, not respecting, not being considerate and respecting the nature, due to the much greed, selfishness and greed. We didn't respect, and we rather consume to feed the greed and feed the selfishness, the earth, water, wind, space, everything. Because of that, then the nature, nature harms us now. It's nature harming us now. You see, so the real betrayer is we betrayed them. Now the karma ripened to us. You see, we betray the nature, and the nature is harming back. You see, so so for Buddhists, respecting the nature is one of very, very important, very principal practice. Not just respecting the sentient being, but also the environment. You see, so Buddha showed in his lifetime, when he renounced the worldly mundane way, then he lived under the tree. You see, when he get when he first time get ordination, that was under the tree. Under with the harmonious with the tree, and he lived very much in the jungle, harmonious with the tree, harmonious with the animal. When he meditated for 6 years, he lived under the tree. You see, he lived under the tree. When he get enlightened, he lived under the tree. He friend with the tree. He didn't chop the tree. He lived within the tree. You see, when he turned the wheel of Dharma, he turned the wheel of Dharma under the natural tree. Then surrounded by natural, the wild animals, like such as deer park. Even the Saranath where Buddha turned the first wheel of Dharma is called deer park. It is a park of wild deers. You see, so is it not just Buddha's action, Buddha's way of life is not just respecting the animals and the creatures, but Buddha show living example of respecting the natural nature of the existence, the environment. environment. So when we relate to his teachings, in the sutric practices, tantric practices, there are so many practices to purify the elements. Like an incense puja, even though the smoke is not so good, but then it's to purify. It purify the environment, and purify the air, the purify the space, purify the wind, like that, like a prayer flag. You see. So again, we have to be careful with our action. The mantra of the prayer flag is to purify the air, to purify the space, purify the living beings and the environment. Yeah, you see. Even when we do saja practice, is to purify the land, purify the soil, purify the space, purify the water, like purify the 5 elements. You see. So there are so many sutras to purify the elements. So many sutras to purify element. When it comes to the Vinaya practice, then the Vinaya Sangha cannot simply chop the trees. Vinaya Sanghas are forbidden to even to cut the grass, even to cut the harvest. The monastic monks and nuns are, in fact, is forbidden to even to go and harvest the rice field. Any field, they forbidden to go and harvest it, because it cut the nature. It chopped the nature. Is in the Vinaya Sutra is not supposed to do that. Then if in case due to the survival that you need to plant the crops, and you need to travel from to the arming from place to place, because you don't own certain kind of local business to support you, so you have to go arm. But still within a year, then observe rainy season retreat. You see, at least 1.5 months or about 3 months that you have to observe rainy season retreat, where you are completely forbidden to pluck any plants from the ground, chop any, not even pluck a leaf from the branch. You're not allowed to do that. You have to make a serious commitment, and avoid walking on the grass, because of the grass will be damaged, then also to cause harm to the bacteria, the natural existence among the nature, would be harmed. And not only that, forbidden to travel, forbidden to travel, walk here and there. Even when we move, have to move very slow, very gentle, very pacified. The reason is that it will harm the nature, the environmental nature, the natural flow of the air, natural flow of the environment, as well as the living being within it. You see. So it's from here, so you can see in every 3 baskets of teaching that I just mentioned before, and the 3 higher training, the practice directly respect, protect the natural environment. You see, so Buddhist practice carry a very, very relevant and a very, very intense practice of respecting the environment, respecting the nature, like that. You see, in fact, those strict, the Vinaya monasteries, even forbidden to have a very kind of like active runnings, active kind of like a major play, like football playings, cricket playing, all this forbidden, forbidden. Again, this to concern of the respecting of the nature and respecting of the living being. Everything has to be so mindful, so gentle. You see, so like that. So this is like what it says. From now on, I will be discreet with respect to everything. Is everything, not only living being, but everything. Then verse 43, when my studies and the teaching fall prey to attachment and anger, it is the weapon of evil karma turning upon me for failing to reflect on the ill of demon in my heart. From now on, I will examine adverse forces and overcome them. Yeah, so again, it's talking about importance of having right motivation. So when we do studies, like an example, Dharma studies, Dharma discourse, from the point of view of the preceptor, the teacher, as well as the listener, the students, they are the danger to fall prey attachment and anger. You see, from the Dharma teacher point of view, you teach, with the motivation of attachment in gathering disciples, attachment of earning offerings, attachment, all attachment graspings. There's a danger, and from the student side also, pursue the Dharma for fame, name, or some kind of sometime there's sometimes I encounter at least few times the student come to the center and they says that hoping that I will find my girlfriend in the center, and in your center there's not many girls. And then some lady also say in the center all the women, no boys, no boys, because outside, I just don't trust. I already got so much of betrayal. So in the Dharma center, everybody practice Dharma. Maybe I may get a good partner. So this is the attachment motivation. They very clearly show attachment. It happens. I encounter. People express that. You see, so. You go to pursue, some Dharma in the Dharma center, you go to listen to the Dharma study, but your motivation and your attention is, about pursue fulfillment of the grasping attachment. Then, you see, etc. Then, also anger, also anger. You see, when if it's Dharma teacher, then you're angry about your students' behavior. They're angry about you are not achieve your agendas. Then that already shows that it's a wrong motivation. You see, that the Dharma teacher has to be compassionate. Whatever way that student behave, you cannot give up on them. You have to continue to guide them. But there are possibility of such kind of, if in case such kind of delusions arises even while pursuing the Dharma, then that is the karma of failing to reflect on the ill of the demon in my heart. So this is due to the karma of not reflecting on the limitation and disadvantage of the delusions in our heart. You see, so the antidote for that, if such thing happen, whether to do with the teachers and the sanghas and the practitioners or whoever it may be, then from now on I will examine a verse and overcome them, and always be mindful to examine one's mind. Then whenever there's arising of any delusion, arising or about to arise, then immediately avert them. by understanding that it's harmful for oneself and harmful for the, like Geshe Langri said in Adverses, the moment that you see the sign or the moment arises delusion, then immediately avert it without delay, even a moment, avert it by seeing the disadvantage and limitation of those delusions. So this is the way to overcome. Okay, so maybe I stop here. Yeah. Yeah. So one of the important job of a practitioner is watching our mind. Always equipping mindfulness and introspection to watch over our mind, to making sure that protect our mind from arising or indulging in any of the negative circumstances and arising negativities or delusions. And if in case it arises, then mindfulness and introspection actualize the antidote accordingly. The common antidote like emptiness, bodhicitta, or specific antidotes to specific negativities, delusions, then avert it, overcome it, like that. Another important job of our spiritual practice in our day-to-day life is learn thoroughly the description or the characteristic of the negative emotions, and always reflect on the limitations of them. It is especially so effective and so beneficial for the prevention for the future arising of delusion is when you don't have those delusion, but then you reflect on the limitation and disadvantage of those delusions. And this is the way how we practice. When our mind is clear and calm, then with the full force of the introspection and mindfulness, to see as clear as possible and try to leave the impact in our continuum through meditation of understanding the limitation of those delusions by seeing their entirety or characteristic. So the more practice you do this way, then next time any sign, even the slightest sign, even that one characteristic of that delusion appears, about to appear to you, you can detect them without delay, and that way that you can able to overcome the arising of the delusions. This is the way how to practice. So this is one of the very important daily job of a practitioner. Then another the important practice is always again use the mindfulness and introspection to be always be always aware of the virtues in your continuum. Whatever awareness comes in your mind, that awareness is awareness of virtue. So for that we learn the characteristic or the definition of the different virtues, like what means love, what means compassion, what means bodhicitta, what means emptiness. So learn the definition, learn the characteristic, then always see the advantage of those characteristics. So even though certain time that your mind is too busy with so many other informations, because of you are so habituated in meditation, in that, and through either analytical meditation or through absorption meditation, your mind is so familiar, so habituated that even one single characteristic of emptiness that arises in your mind, able to trigger to remember rest of the characteristic of the emptiness, means able to remember the full function, full wisdom of the emptiness in your mind. You see, in particularly when the emptiness is required to avert the delusions, then the emptiness wisdom will come in full force. So it requires consistent practice in that. So that is one of the main job of we as a practitioner, to really bring the Dharma benefit to us. Dharma benefit to us. You see, like we want to catch a thief. If we don't know the characteristic of thief, we won't be able to catch the thief, isn't it? Then the delusions are like delusions and inconvenience and negativities are like a thief of our mind, a thief of peace and happiness and virtues of our mind. So in order to catch those thieves, we need to learn their characteristic. We need to learn their characteristic. Like, what are the 3 poisons? What are the 6 delusions? What are the 26 secondary delusions? What are the rest of the other sub delusions? We have to learn their characteristic. Then what are the virtues, like the 10 virtues? Like, what are the refuge precepts? 5 labor precepts, Bodhisattva precepts and tantric precepts and individual liberation precepts. So when we learn every single detail of those characteristics, then we are richness in the tool that we can able to educate our mind to be fully equipped with the protection in all angle, in all direction. So that way, then we will have a genuinely a continuous liberated state of our being in virtue like that. Okay, so with this note, then I conclude here. So may whatever merit accumulated individually, collectively, and all the merit accumulated by past, present, future Buddhas and Gurus be the complete cause to eradicate entire oceans of samsara and its causes in every single living being, and abide them in the state of temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of full enlightenment. May our collective merit from this session be a complete cause the coronavirus difficulty around the world be pacified as soon as possible, and actualize the cure, the vaccine be most effective, most efficient, and everyone able to actualize a new kind of form of life with full of virtues, full of compassion, full of love and harmony. May this collective merit be a complete cause for all the good people in this world, like His Holiness Dalai Lama, Gyaltsab Lama Sopa, and all the other your spiritual gurus and spiritual friends, and all the other rest of the good people, and each and every one of you and each and every one of your family members always enjoy perfect health, long life, and fulfill all your aspirations accordingly. May this collective merit be a complete cause for all the world leaders and leaders of the community, leaders of the family, and yourself who lead your life. Mind be free from all the delusions, hallucinations, and have a correct view, full of compassion, loving kindness, so that whoever they are under their leadership can able to enjoy full of virtue and peace and happiness. And may this collective merit be a complete cause for all the Dharma institutions, who are which are the source of peace and happiness of and enlightenment of numberless sentient beings, like the 3 great monasteries, and then all the APMD centers and all the other virtuous organizations always clear inner outer secret obstacle, actualize all the positive conditions, and fulfill all the Dharma activities, Dharma projects, in accordance with the Dharma and accordance with the visions of the Gurus. May this collective merit be a complete cause for anyone that who pass away, and particularly within last 49 days, to purify their suffering of death, intermediate state, and rebirth, and actualize higher rebirth where they meet perfect Maya and Guru, and actualize enlightenment within that very lifetime. And also dedicate this collective merit to all the people who have requested prayers, dedication from me, from our gurus, from you, and also we individually, who know that there are people who are suffering, especially those who have karmic affinity with us, in the family members, in the Dharma students, when we pray to them, it will be most effective. So if we happen to see like animals, like cats and dogs, and even the ants, while we're walking, while in the kitchen, if we happen to see them suffering, see them dead, then we dedicate this collective merit for them to purify all the sufferings and actualize all their wishes accordingly. And may this collective merit be complete cause for each and every one of us able to practice in accordance with the Lojong teaching, in accordance with Lojong teaching, what we have learned, and also to practice just like Dhammarashita, Lama Silingpa, Lama Tsongkhapa, Nagarjuna, and all our gurus, and without delaying, may we be able to achieve the Guru Buddhahood for the benefit of numberless sentient beings. And also the dedicator ourselves and the merit and the purpose we dedicate, everything lies in the nature of lack of inherent existence. Everything exists interdependently. Chanjo zemjoren boje maje panam jeju jewanya ba me bayang gone gondo phewa je toni taware boje maje panam jeju jewanya ba me bayang gone gondo phewa je remni taware boje maje panam jeju jewanya ba me bayang gone gondo phewa sho 파마슴 제담제 된다 된주 증내로 담제 다도 동화다 전주 sem박가나 수주바 되다 군제 몰람 두주로 제 가리라베 고베 신간데 펜다데와 말에 조베네 제레세와 텐제 자조 샤베 세데바도 된주로 제 투수 전제 정고 제베 된지 조 베베 투 군서도 고제 초소 고벨레메 투로바 다소도 제 군도 샤데 쇼 자베바와 제다 젬바도 군도 상보데 안 되진데 다 군제 주소 달로지 자와데 다담제 랍도 투선 제베 자와 탐제데 모가라 추동 아바다 다지 제베 자와데 Sambo Jeje Rabdongo Warai, Jumde di Chabarajuman, the Bazobasan, Naman, Jabala Chado, Josabasama, Kundo Sambola Chado, Tired Bezity, all but the names of the damage. Tired on Bezity, all but the names of the damages, tired on Bezity, all but the names of the damages, or tired on Bezity, all but the names of the damages, or tired on Bezity, all but the names of the damages. Jumde di Jabarajuman, the Bazobasan, Minjala Bedo, Jabala Chado, Jumde di Jabarajuman, the Bazobasan. The Molada Jaradu to be Jabola Chaze, Lo, Menjose Jave Chelam, the Tende Loa, Dajil Hasan David. Namda Mebe Nego drove Juro, Semja never change, but you don't let Taji to Venema, but Tado Joan, Mebara, better so, Miko be Shino. Semjera Waku the Samba Church and River Tashi, Tembaji, then comes to Joma, Temba Nivation to Sawa, there's a bullshit. Temba Yuren, Nebe Tashi, Nimondele, Sendele, Nimeko and Delege, Nizetato Dele. Kunjo Sumje Tashi Show. Thank you very much. Take care. Take care of each other. Okay. See you. Bye-bye.